Biomes, or terrestrial biomes. A biome is a major type of ecosystem, and terrestrial biomes, of course, are major types of ecosystems on land. Terrestrial biomes are characterized by their dominant vegetation, and of course what that's going to be is going to be influenced by the temperature and the precipitation. So going right to it, you have diagrams of this in your textbook. Be sure to look at these as well as the maps that they are located. Now in the tropics, and again you know what tropical means, it's between 0 degrees the equator and 23.5 degrees north and south latitude. We have the tropical forests, and of course most people think of the tropical rainforest. High annual rainfall. Everything is warm and wet year-round. Decomposition is very quick, so whenever something dies, the nutrients are broken down very quickly and reassimilated back into the biomass, which means that the soil of tropical rainforest is nutrient poor. Makes terrible farmland. But tropical rainforests do have very, very high biodiversity. Extreme high species richness, numbers of species. Now usually with tropical rainforests you have 2 seasons, wet and wetter. But with savannas you can have wet and dry seasons. So these are tropical or semi-tropical grasslands with few scattered trees. Basically you have prolonged dry periods, periodic fires prevent the permanent establishment of trees. The largest, of course, is the African savanna, where you get a lot of the large animals like giraffes and African lions and so on and so forth. We move up to the temperate zones, and we have these more or less at equal latitudes, but in different places based on rainfall. Deserts are generally located in landlocked areas that are around 30 degrees north and south latitude. Now this was from the previous video, and I mentioned that you have a lot of rain in the close to tropical areas because of the rising air. But when the air comes out, this pretty much lost all its moisture, so this descending air is fairly dry. So if it's not receiving ocean moisture locally, then that's where you're going to find a lot of the deserts. So very low rainfall annually. And of course the plants and animals there are adapted to drought conditions. The chaparral is located on the west coasts of continents where you have cool ocean currents, such as what you find in California and in the Mediterranean. Again, refer to the previous video on that when we talked about ocean currents buffering the climate. The temperate grasslands are similar to the savannas, but not really. They're both dominated by grasses. They both have fairly low rainfall, but the temperate soils across the board are much more nutrient rich because they are subject to less, speed of decomposition, and these are also geologically younger, being scoured out by a lot of the glaciers. So temperate grassland makes excellent farmland. A lot of it has been converted to farmland. The prairie is temperate grassland. The temperate broadleaf or deciduous forest, very abundant in eastern North America, western Europe, and so on and so forth. Here we have the trees that shed their leaves in autumn, oak, hickory, maple, things like that. That's what the word deciduous means. You may also see this written as temperate broadleaf forest or temperate hardwood forest. And again, you've got more rainfall here than you do here or even here. So you have dense forest there. Now we move up north a notch. That is, north of these you have the northern coniferous forest, or taiga, T-A-I-G-A. So here you have more harsh winters, cold-tolerant evergreens, things like that. North of the taiga, you get the tundra. The tundra represents the northernmost limit of plant growth. You have permafrost soil here. That is, the soil, even in the middle of summer, never really completely thaws out. So you're not going to get forests and trees in the tundra. You're going to get things like grasses, lichens, and a few other odds and ends. Now, north of that, you have the polar region, where you basically have snow, ice, and snow. And that's an overview of the terrestrial biomes.